The shorthanded Mavericks fall despite Kyrie Irving's epic night to the Portland Trail Blazers. We'll break it all down coming up next here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato, Mavericks analyst Bobby Carell, and our national NBA insider, Mark Stein. We, of course, are DLLS Mavs, your favorite guys covering your favorite team every single game night at Kevin Gray Sports, at Tim_Cato, at Bobby Carell. And you can always dial up the Stein line at the Stein line. A disappointing night for the Dallas Mavericks on the road against the Portland Trail Blazers as they fall 126-122 despite Kyrie Irving going for 46 points, including 22 in the second half to try to lead a fourth quarter comeback. Unfortunately, they fall short, of course, with no Najee Marshall, no PJ Washington. The Mavericks lose on the second night of a back-to-back on the road, this time to the Portland Trail Blazers. We'll break it all down for you here over the course of the next hour. We really appreciate you joining us here on DLLS Sports here on YouTube. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe while you are here as well. Let us know your thoughts on how you feel about tonight's game as the Mavericks lose by 4 in what became a close game in the fourth quarter, but most of the night felt like the Portland Trail Blazers were in control, gentlemen, as, of course, the Mavericks tried to find a way without a lot of their guys, no Lively, no Marshall, no Washington, and, of course, lukadoncic not being available currently, but the Mavericks gave it their best effort in the fourth quarter, but ultimately come up short, Tim Cato.
Kevin, you didn't believe me. Bobby, you didn't believe me. Mark, you weren't here, but you didn't believe me. I've been saying for so long, the Dallas Mavericks are a very good team. You guys did not believe they were going to have a fake comeback to make this game close and ultimately lose. You guys are saying this was going to be wrapped up by halftime. It's going to be a blowout. It's going to be a bunch of points
say that
for the
first
Portland.
Part. Did say it was going to be a blowout, but I did not.
You did?
I didn't say halftime.
But you said before halftime that this was going to be a blowout.
I did.
You said in the first half this was going to be a blowout, and I said nope. They're going to make this close. They're going to lose the game. Was I right? It's a good team. This team doesn't get blown out. That doesn't mean they win, but they don't get blown out.
I would push back only insofar as Kyrie Irving made it a game. Quentin Grimes chipped in, and it is a pleasure to watch Kyrie Irving play basketball. I cannot say that enough. I will remember getting to watch Kyrie Irving play for the rest of my life. Like, he is that special. But the prevailing emotion coming from this game is in the picture in our thumbnail. It's just yuck.
You want to know how bad this night is? I'm going to tell you how bad this night is. I'm seeing people in the chat asking, where's the charging cable? The charging cable is just bound up and not being used because the awesome little portable outlet that used to be near my seat that enabled me to plug in the world's greatest charging cord has somehow disappeared.
I think it's being used for the tree.
Think so?
I think.
So I shouldn't rant.
Yeah, no, it's our beautiful tree.
So
yeah, are you?
Now I just wanted to see Stein cook on the rant.
During yesterday's show, I discovered that the closest outlet, as awesome as this charging cable is, it's way over there. My phone barely reaches. I got to get an even longer cable now.
Let's go.
To use the nearest outlet. So for those of you wondering in the chat, here is the cable completely tied up in its little.
You've got to get a Wembanyama sized charging cord.
I can't even use it.
Right now you have a Daniel Gafford length cord. Nah, you got to go taller.
It's a shame. Like, Phoenix to Portland is almost a 3-hour flight commercial. It's a different time zone.
Yes, it is a
beast of a back.
Did you see that Mark Followell stat earlier today?
Yeah.
Like
1,100 miles, I think?
The Mavs are the only team that has been asked to go to Portland from Phoenix on the second night of a back-to-back. Longest, so it's like you said, it's a 3-hour flight.
That's
you
impossible.
do gain an hour, but under the circumstances, shorthanded as they were, to then get this epic game from Kyrie. When we were saying last night, should the Mavs just give Kyrie the night off? Should they just instead they tax Kyrie to the max that they could have? He goes crazy, and they end up with a clutch game loss.
Yeah, that's unfair. It shouldn't count in the box score, but like it just sucks. It sucks that Luka was out, but we got to get used to that. It sucks that Lively's still out. It's a bone bruise, or whatever it is. Really, that's just a really annoying. It's disgusting that PJ Washington was suspended for this game. It's very understandable that Najee Marshall was suspended for this game, but it just sucks. It sucks that all of that happened on a back-to-back.
Yeah.
Like, if they would have had an extra day off, they probably win. If PJ wouldn't have been suspended, who knows? Maybe they win, but like we'll never know.
If Live's in there, I guarantee they win.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, it's like that simple.
So many thoughts like running through my mind. I'm trying to like organize it as I'm thinking about it because I'm trying to decide if I'm more pissed off that they lost the game in the fashion that they did, or the idea that the Portland Trailblazers, who could have won this game by a bazillion points, had to make me pay attention to this game all the way into the end, or the fact that they wasted what was a 46-point night from Kyrie Irving, or the fact that Denny Avdia and anyone else had a free license to get to the rim in the fourth quarter at any point that they like. There's so many things that are running through my mind about why this game turned out the way that they did, and for it to be a 4-point game after all of that, and the Mavericks coming up on the short end, they got within 5 twice in the fourth quarter. But nobody outside it felt like Kyrie Irving could get things to go. Klay Thompson was smoking jumpers. He went 2 of 7 in the fourth quarter. I see y'all in the chat already getting after Spencer Dinwiddie. I'm not going to go on a Spencer Dinwiddie rant because I don't have the energy to do it, to be honest with you. But at the same time, there's just so many things that could have went right that didn't, and so many things that went wrong, and yet the Mavericks still had a chance to somehow win this game even as the game went on in the
because
fourth
of Kyrie.
quarter.
Because Kyrie is that guy. Because Kyrie stepped up and 46 points on 26 shots. That's insane.
Yeah,
was
20
great.
in the fourth quarter.
That's ridiculous.
He was great. But
Yeah.
he needed someone else to,
needed somebody
to be able
else,
to join him,
yeah.
right? And Grimes looked really fresh. Like we were saying in the first half, like Grimes came to play. Like he was not messing around. He was playing hard the whole game. But it was so obvious in the fourth quarter. Like Klay just was out of gas. Dinwiddie was out of gas. Kyrie, I don't know how he did it. Like I'm not going to hold those guys to Kyrie's standard. I'm amazed that Kyrie was able to do what he was able to do. But it was very, very clear that this team was dog tired. It was a layup line to the rim. And the only reason that the Blazers missed a couple shots in the lane in the fourth quarter is because Gafford came up with some freakish blocks, but then Gafford ran out of gas. So then they went with Maxey to get more shooting out there, to get more spacing out there. And Maxey wasn't able to contest those shots to the same degree that Gafford was. But, I mean, it was like no dribble move, one bounce blow-bys for the entire fourth quarter. Like, this team was exhausted.
It felt like the only stop they got was when Avdia missed a chippy. It was like charitably missed one that he should have converted.
And Kyrie was tired too. Like Kyrie was
he was getting cooked on the perimeter. Like
Kyrie was so tired.
Which is what makes
played
what he did more
39
amazing.
minutes. And it makes it more impressive. But because Kyrie was tired, that means Spencer Dinwiddie has to be in the game. And Spencer Dinwiddie did not have a good game. But Spencer Dinwiddie had to be out there because Kyrie literally could not take the ball up the court every possession. You did not trust him when Kyrie was like, I need a possession off. I need to just go stand in the corner. Jason Kidd right now, the only player that he has available to him that he trusts to run a pick and roll, right or wrong, is Spencer Dinwiddie.
Bro,
I mean,
we
that's
were
what he's on
doing
the team for.
handoffs between Daniel
That's what he's on the
Gafford
team
and
for.
Omax Prosper tonight.
But when because Jason Kidd looks at the roster and said, well, Kyrie literally cannot run every pick and roll, so Spencer Dinwiddie has to be out there. That means that, both guards are out there. So that means that, okay, where are you going to fit in Quentin Grimes, who's the only other player who looks fresh and bright and sharp, and you're not going to play him over Klay Thompson because this is a game where you are down so many players and Quentin Grimes not on such a hot streak that you're going to...
Maybe they should have.
Maybe they should have.
Ask why Dinwiddie and Kleba started. Jason Kidd said he wanted an extra ball handler in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Hit the ding check button.
Again,
and he wanted front court defense.
It's about the roles.
Oh, I didn't even know we had one. That was rhetorical.
Well
done, Tanner.
We brought that out after
Well done,
the
Tanner.
whole Utah bit.
Yeah, but again, like this is literally so this is Jason Kidd's thinking, and eventually he put Quentin Grimes in there, and he just played one center. But because they were getting blown by so much, I also get the motivation to be like, well, let's put Maxey and Gafford in there, and hopefully, that can shore up some of the, rim pressure that Portland is just consistently putting on the rim, on the basket. But it's just, I don't know. You got to find a way to play. That's a night where he played 28 minutes. That was more than anybody off the bench, and it was equal Daniel Gafford. And I don't know. You got to find a way to get him more minutes, because that was the one player outside of Kyrie Irving that looked fresh, that looked like he actually had energy and was making shots. I do understand the math, the scenario that led to him not playing, led to him not starting, all that stuff. I get it, but you gotta find, if I'm Jason Kidd, if I'm the coaching staff in this game, I would have found a way to get a few more minutes. This isn't really a criticism. This was a game set up to lose because Adam Silver in the NBA is kind of soft. But
I mean, once you're
because Klay Thompson shot poorly, but this is not a coaching loss. I want to make that very clear. This is not I'm looking at the roster and I'm like, man, another 6 minutes of Quentin Grimes, another 8 minutes, another 10 minutes, play him 38 minutes. That's the one player who had anything, outside of Kyrie Irving on this entire roster, especially in the second half.
I mean, once you're on the floor, you got to play with the guys that you have. And I thought, especially going into the second half, I thought Quentin Grimes honestly should have started the game, but definitely going into the second half, I felt like he gave you enough and showed you enough in the first half that he could give you something going into the second half. And he was quite effective in the minutes and the portions of the games that he was able to play in to give the Mavericks something, coming off the bench. So let me get to Ardell's super chat real quick. I see he's got a $2
Ardell, don't leave yet.
71-cent super chat.
Let's read it right now.
He left?
Thank you, Ardell. He said that 31 has him in a bad mood.
I'm sorry, $2.11 super chat. Carry Kyrie the GDP like he was Texas greatness. Yeah, Kyrie did the heavy lifting. I mean, look, he said it last night after the game against the Phoenix Suns on whether or not he was going to play. And he said, look, of course I'm going to play. These are the opportunities that we have to be able to continue to seize momentum. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, what Kyrie was saying, but at the same time, he was able to show up big time in the fourth quarter, even with the Mavericks being down by as many as 21 points. The Blazers had 5 guys with at least 19 points, 4 guys that had at least 20 points, and Bobby made the astute point, none of them were named Jeremy Grant. That's the kind of night that the Blazers were having in a lot of different ways.
That dude is living the dream. I just want to say that. He is living the dream.
Yeah, he's got a nice little contract in Portland, and the way that they were able to pick him up tonight of in a lot of ways is, I guess, a testament to his savvy, I guess, again, in the contract they did.
I mean, with hindsight, and obviously, on some levels, there's no point even doing this, but it's like, I would have been tempted to overrule Kyrie and say, no, we need you to take tonight off because we're not going to win this game. But instead, he goes out and plays this ridiculously brilliant game.
It gives him a chance.
Underlining that Kyrie Irving's having an all-NBA season. I mean, Kyrie Irving has not had a 70-game season since his last year in Cleveland. But again, now he is what? 29 of 32 he's played. I mean, he is clearly bound for the all-NBA team at this rate and just looks fantastic.
24 points, 5 assists. His counting stats are a little bit low, but the efficiency, the on-off numbers, all of that stuff, the eye test, all of that stuff checks out. The aura. The only thing that's really holding in, obviously, the 23.8 is his points average this season, but that's Basketball Reference has not updated with his 46 tonight. So it'll be closer to 25. 25, it's hard to make an all-NBA team averaging fewer than 25 points unless you're,
and
do everything.
Fourth quarter, how hard he was working just to find space.
Oh, I'm not trying to unravel your point. I absolutely think it's an all-NBA level.
That's why, again, I would have been tempted to say, hey, man, love your spirit, love that you want to play. We're sitting you tonight because, I mean, and you know why they didn't do that? Because I said it's Portland.
Sure.
Portland hadn't won 2 games in a row all season. So surely the Mavs are thinking we can sneak this one.
That's math.
We can steal this one. We can, and we got to go to Sacramento and play a team that has a new coach. So the Kings are going to be a lot more focused and intense. And it ended up being just a painful loss, painful evening.
Let's take our first break here on the DLLS Mavs post-game show. More on this game, Kyrie Irving's epic night as the Mavericks unfortunately fall to the Portland Trail Blazers on the road. All that and more coming up next year on the DLLS Mavs post-game show. Let me talk to you about Sleeper first. I got ball knowers on set with me. I know that you're a ball knower as well because you've downloaded the Sleeper app, the best fantasy league platform that's out there. Allows you to put your ball knowledge to the test by picking whether your favorite or least favorite players who have more or less than their projected stats.
They let me down tonight.
Each week. Unfortunately, they didn't pick up Bobby, did the Mavericks when it came to his sleeper picks tonight, but you have the chance when the Cowboys take on the Philadelphia Eagles tomorrow at high noon. If you're picking Kenny Pickett to maybe have 250 passing yards, you might be able to hit on that because the Cowboys secondary is boo-boo. Actually, they're playing a little bit better as of late. So you'll see what you can do on Sleeper. With Sleeper, the more picks
Brandon
you can...
Aubrey, come through for me.
That's the noon game you care about?
Fantasy
I'm
championship.
a Cowboys fan, so of course I
Bills
do.
Jets.
Who?
Anyway,
I'm just messing with you.
with Sleeper, the more picks you can buy, the more you can win all the way up to 100
Super
times your
Kev.
money. If you think you have what it takes, make sure you download the Sleeper app. New users can get $55 in free entries when you place a $5 contest. So use code DLLS Mavs. Apply to any contest. It doesn't have to be your first one as well. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Make sure you check out Sleeper today.
Live events rule. And I'm in kind of a weird position during the season where there's not a lot of time off, but coming up, it's the All-Star break, and I know I need to get to a show during the All-Star break. If I ever want to go to a concert or to a game or to really any kind of live event, then Game Time is where I'm going to go. Game Time is focused on togetherness this holiday season. That means when you bring people together at live events, the experience is that much better, and it's the perfect gift, too. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for live events even easier. They filter out all the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DLLS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is that?
Game time!
Who's using Game Time less than 48 hours from now?
Who?
Moi.
Oh, let's go.
Sabres at Stars.
Shout out to Cam. He says he's not a ball knower because he would have smashed the over on Kyrie Irving if he had known better tonight when it came to his sleeper.
No,
pick.
I think that was wise to not take the Kyrie over.
I mean, if you had listened to if you had listened to the pregame show, I said Kyrie would have to go for 50 to potentially win this game.
I do want to.
He came up 4 points short. The Mavericks lost by 4.
I was gonna say, you kind of nailed that.
There is a lot of bemoaning in chat. First off, of Clay's performance, and how he wasn't able to get a lot of good looks, wasn't able to knock any of them down. I mean, he was 2 of 8 on open threes. Like it was a rough night for Clay. But again, second night of a back-to-back is tough. And then the other thing is about Dinwiddie, kind of as a ball handler. And I do think I'll do the Dinwiddie thing this time so you don't have to.
Oh, I appreciate you because I ain't got it for him tonight. I ain't got it for him.
There is, and this isn't even because it was the second night of a back-to-back. I think this is it's becoming a concern. I mean, it has been a concern. Like he's getting up there as well, and he was never, even at his peak, he was never like the quickest guy, but he was able to get guys off balance or sort of get past them. He was really, really adept at drawing contact during his first tenure with the Mavs. And, this year he's not getting to the line as often. He's not able to take guys off the dribble as much. And so there is this sort of, it kind of feels like aimlessness or listlessness whenever he's running point. Like there's like 8 seconds left in the possession and nothing has happened. And that was a really, really common trend and theme and issue with the Mavs during that 21-22 season. Luka and Dinwiddie were both very guilty of slowly bringing it up the floor, not really doing anything with the ball because it kind of takes them a while to break their guy down. Dinwiddie maybe not as adept in the pick and roll, or if he's the secondary guy, he's not going to get the luxury of having a screen. He's just going to have to beat his man one-on-one. And that's really tough. And so if that is going to be kind of a pain point of his game, is just this inability to get in the lane, then it's going to be really, really hard without Luka if he is the guy playing alongside Kyrie, because they need that initial thrust. They need that initial 2 feet in the paint drive so that they can get the kick out to Clay for 3, or so that they can get the lob, set the lob up, because the big man has to step over.
Draw attention from defenders, yeah.
And so I think that the result of not having that one guy really outside of Kyrie that can break a man down means you are going to have a lot more one-on-one. You're going to have a lot more ISO, a lot more long, slow, drawn-out possessions. It's going to make it tough to score.
Dallas did, they got off 38 shots, 38 threes in this game, but when Luka's off the court, it's really noticeable. The stats play it out. How they just shoot less threes. They shoot less threes when Luka's on the court, and it's a noticeable thing. Kyrie does not create 3-point looks in the same way, and Spencer Dinwiddie certainly does not. A lot of the threes I thought they took were like rush stuff. They were acting for like the last 5 minutes of the game. They were acting like, I think
there's 10 seconds left.
Yeah, they were acting like it was 10 seconds
Clay's
left.
had a great December.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's shooting, maybe it's dipped a little bit, but at one point this week,
shooting 44% from
the
three.
stat was recited that he was shooting better than 50% on threes in the fourth quarter for the season. I think that is now dipped under 50%.
Yeah.
But
it was one of those days for him.
Right. So it's like, when the guy's playing well and consistently playing well, you have to throw out a bad night.
Yeah, and again, second night of back-to-back, it's tough. There's nowhere to hide in those situations.
And honestly, for me, I think this game says more about Portland because the amount of bodies that the Mavericks did not have, Portland should have put the Dallas Mavericks away at least 3 or 4 different times in this game. But to Tim's point, the Mavericks have shown a lot of grit and a lot of toughness, and they're not going to quit in these games. And when you've got a superstar in Kyrie Irving leading a charge, the Mavericks follow his lead, especially now with lukadoncic not being there. And he tried to he did put the Mavericks on his back in the fourth quarter and nearly snatched, defeat, from the jaws of whatever the saying is. I don't know.
They almost did the thing.
They almost did the thing.
I thought Gafford struggled too, Kevin. I thought Gafford struggled quite a bit with Ayton early in the game. There's just something about guys that can pop from the free throw line out to the 3-point line. Gafford just loses them. He just can't find them. Ayton had a lot of really easy looks, and he's super good at those elbow pull-ups, the free throw line pull-ups. He's even good from like 8 to 10 feet in that sort of dead area on the floor.
He backed up on a Scoot Henderson floater. It's just like, dog, what are you doing?
Yeah, it was just tough, man. It was he really struggled tonight, and so I agree, Tim. If they had Lively, I think they would have. I think they probably would have won the game, and that would have also allowed Gafford to go up against bench guys as opposed to fresh starters, which I think is much better. He's much better suited for. Dwight didn't get in there very much. There was some really, really, really troublesome minutes. It was like I think Dwight, Hardy, and Dinwiddie together, and that was pretty rough. So it was just, hopefully next game, Lively will be back. I don't know what the word is, but for every game that Lively and Luka and Najee and PJ are out, I don't think the Mavericks.
I said it last time, but the minute you saw Mike Conley go crashing into Lively, like there was so much going on in that game, we didn't pay enough attention to it, but it looked bad.
Yeah,
it looked violent. That was a violent.
Yeah,
I'm about to say,
I saw it happen, and I was like, 2007 draft class. Mike Conley just crashed into Derek Lively, and that's
somehow
bad
he
news.
came out fine, and Lively's missed 2 games.
Sorry, we spent like 10 minutes.
I'm about to say a little inside baseball. We were
talking
talking about the 07 draft class at one point during this
for like
game.
10 minutes.
Yeah, because we thought that the game was going to be in hand by Portland, but Kyrie Irving said, "No, you're going to pay attention to this game, damn it," especially in the fourth quarter. And to the point, real quick. Lively missing his second straight game with the left hip contusion. Like, I want to ask you guys, do you feel like, is there any concern moving forward about the injury itself? Obviously, no paint presence really to speak of without Lively in there, given the nature of the injury. Are you guys concerned about any long-term issues with him being not available for this team going forward here?
I mean, I'm concerned every time he's not available, and he has certainly missed some games. I just think that I refuse to talk about whether any player who is 20 years old, I am not going to talk about whether they're injury prone. And I know that's not even quite.
Are you ready for my hot take that I'm
it's
about
not quite
to drop
what you're
on
saying,
you guys?
but like,
oh, Stein got a hot take. Let's hear it.
I would have loved to have seen Jamarian Sharp get a 2-way.
Wow.
Out of training camp.
Okay.
Tonight, you know what he did in the G League tonight?
I saw he had a lot of blocks.
8 blocks. 13 rebounds.
Man, I don't think
you got Jamarian Sharp at home. Daniel Gafford had 5 blocks tonight. Relax.
I'm just saying,
he's really skinny
but for just as an emergency spot tonight, he could have helped.
I thought that Dwight could have helped. I don't know why Dwight didn't play more tonight, to be honest. They did go Maxey at the 5 for a while in the second half.
I
think Ayton bullies Sharp.
Look, it's again. We're talking about 1 or 2 nights a year that he fills in, but just I thought he was pretty impressive in the preseason. And I thought, I remember us we were talking about, like, can you believe there are 5 guys for these 3 two-way spots, and we're actually doing segments or half segments on this stuff. But, like, you look at what he did tonight, and I'm just like, the guy should be on an NBA roster. And
yeah, I don't know.
I'm just not moved by him. I don't know. I watch him, and I'm like, I just see, like, Bol, a player who doesn't play, It's just like there is a requisite amount of size and just frame that is required to be an NBA player. And the problem wasn't that, like, the problem was the point of attack defense. And I don't know if there's any amount of rotating that, I don't think Daniel Gafford often misses these rotations. He was making them tonight. He had 5 blocks. He had by his standards, he had one of his best defensive games of the NBA
thing is, though, there weren't
season.
any rotations to make because the ball wasn't moving. It was just whoever's guarding, I'm going to dribble right past them.
Yeah.
It was so bad. I'll tell you who could have helped tonight, Brandon Williams, but he hasn't played in like 2 months. So maybe getting someone else in there. And Kessler Edwards has played, 2 games all season. I mean, they were trying like hell to get him a basket in a blowout recently, and he couldn't get one to go. Like, really none of the Goatman has he's had some moments, but they need some. They need something.
Like, clearly, I'm not the same type of sharp guy, but like the G League isn't nothing. And look, if they were to sign him to a 2-way contract, you're 100% right. This was the game where they would have wanted him. There has not been a single game this entire season where I have said, oh, they need Sharp. Like they could have used him. Tonight, if he was on the roster, if he was a 2-way player, I would have liked to see him out there. I'm not convinced personally, based off my opinions, my assessment of him as a player, he would have made an impact one way or the other. But you know who else didn't make an impact one way or the other in 5 minutes? Gortman. He had no impact.
Yeah.
Gortman had no impact. So if you are signing a 2-way player and you sign 2 guards and you try one of them and they make no impact on a game where you desperately need another ball handler, and you're telling me right now that, well, they could have gone a different way with a 2-way player who would have filled a different position that they were very missing tonight, like, nobody's wrong here.
I think the meta on that is just constantly keep new guys coming in.
Yeah.
Just to see. But do they count toward the CBA? Do you know?
Days.
Like if you cut a 2-way and sign a new one, does that add?
No, I believe that happens outside of the CBA.
Does it?
I cannot answer that
every
question.
Every dollar counts.
And it definitely
Bobby's favorite subject.
But it definitely does in the Mavs case because they are just a small amount of dollars away from an apron. So I would honestly have to check that with them.
They're like if the Fed changes the interest rates, like they have to trade.
No. I was so wrong.
I cannot answer that question without consulting an expert. That all my cap experts are probably not awake at this hour to field my.
Yossi's a West Coast guy. It's only 10-14 there.
I must say they're not watching the Sacramento Lakers game right about now. It's off at 9:40 tonight.
I mean, this is a yeah. Do you know the Miami Heat still have a cap hold on Dwayne Wade?
All right. As the Mavericks fall 126 to 122 tonight, we're going to take our next break here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. More on this game, plus a little bit later on, we'll dial up the Stein line as well when it comes to some news in and around the league, particularly when it comes to a former Dallas Maverick. All that and more coming up next here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. But it's bowl season in college football, and one of the classic all-star games in college football history is coming right here to the heart of Texas. I'm talking about the East-West Shrine Bowl game. America's oldest college football all-star game is being held right here in Texas on January 30th. Be a part of the history in the making at the 100th East-West Shrine Bowl at AT&T Stadium. Since 1925, the game has benefited Shriners children in its mission to provide innovative pediatric specialty care to improve and transform the lives of children. See some of the nation's top college football players in this head-to-head competition ahead of the 2025 NFL drafts. The East-West Shrine Bowl has served as the starting point for many noteworthy NFL careers, including 80 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame and more than 200 members of the College Football Hall of Fame. Tickets are just $20, start at just $20, so make sure you visit shrinebowl.com to buy your tickets for the 2025 East-West Shrine Bowl at AT&T Stadium coming up on January 30th.
And get ready for that bowl game with Shady Rays. They have quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays, they have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures, including college football, bowls. You know, sometimes it might be a little sunny. I know it's the winter, but if you got sensitive eyes like me, it's nice to have a pair of sunglasses when you're going to be outside. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best, and I mean their best, deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code DLLS for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over, get this, 300,000 people. That's more people than I even know. Try them out.
Nearly 150 people watching us live here on the DLLS Mavs post-game show. Really appreciate you hanging out with us here on the show, despite the Mavericks falling 126-122 to the Portland Trailblazers. Kyrie Irving going off for 46 points in tonight's game, including 20 in the fourth quarter. The Mavericks were down by as many as 21 in this game, tried to stage another huge comeback, but fall short ultimately to the Portland Trailblazers.
Can we correct the vibes, please? The Mavs are in 4th place. Literally, their whole starting lineup was out or suspended tonight. They lost in the second night of a back-to-back. Just like...
We haven't really talked about the suspensions. I know you guys did pregame, but I think we should.
Oh, I complained about them quite a bit, but we can talk about those. They barely lost the game. We got to see Kyrie do something awesome. They're in 4th place. Just everyone calm down, dude. We got people like Malding because they only had 20 assists tonight. Yeah, they shot like crap. That's why they had 20 assists. They're going to play on Monday. They'll probably win. Like, we're good.
PJ will be back on Monday. PJ Washington will be back
Everything
on Monday.
is fine. Let's just have a good weekend, you know? It's Saturday night. It's Sunday morning. All right.
Yeah, it's Sunday morning.
We're having a great time. We're having a great time.
It is literally 2025 already.
No,
late in the
you're
night.
a little early on that.
A little early on that.
Damn it.
But we'll get there soon. Mark, since you wanted to touch on it real quick, we mentioned that PJ Washington will be back on Monday when the Mavericks take on the Sacramento Kings. Obviously, the suspensions were handed out earlier today. Najee Marshall being suspended for 4 games. PJ Washington being suspended for the 1. Yusuf Nurkic getting 3 games for his role in the altercation with the Mavericks and the Suns. And the NBA also letting us know that apparently Najee Marshall wasn't finished with Nurkic because he tried to go find him in the corridor to go have some more.
Well, that's why his suspension was 1 game longer. I mean, I think everybody was like, why is the instigator getting 1 game less? You know, that was the NBA's explanation in the release, that because whatever happened in the hallways that we didn't see, that's why Najee got 4 games. But look, I have to say, normally suspensions almost always come in shorter than I was expecting, and this was the time that in all 3 cases the suspensions were longer than I thought they would be. And it's interesting that interesting is probably not the adjective that Mavs fans would use in this case, but I was legit, 4-3-1. I would have expected 2-1-0.
Yeah.
And so to see 4-3-1 now when there's an early season skirmish, the NBA does like to try to send out a message with these in hopes that they'll be a deterrent to other players. But again, if looking at recent NBA history, 4-3-1 was more than I was expecting in every case.
Like, as of just a few years ago, every time something would happen on the court that you knew that the NBA was going to investigate or look at it and potentially give out suspensions, and we would try to do predictions of how many games is this guy going to get. Oh, surely this guy is going to get 5 games, and then it'd come back out and it was 2. I think someone shoved a Morris twin. That was Jokic? That wasn't Jokic.
Yeah, Jokic almost paralyzed Markieff Morris and got a game.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, and that I remember feeling like that's
he really did. Like Morris missed like months after that play.
Yeah, that was like one of the most serious altercations I thought I've seen on an NBA court, and I'm like, surely this is going to really be like, fines are really going to be handed out, and it was nothing. It's just consistently the NBA has always under-delivered on my own personal expectations, people I've talking to, their expectations, even dating back to when I worked at like SB Nation, and the first time I was like a national, I was technically kind of like a national NBA reporter, and like our job was to write about it and like kind of, what is the NBA? How is the NBA going to crack down on this? And it always was less than I thought. This is one of the first times I can remember.
Yeah, like
where it's
just
more than I thought.
Just going back, opening night, 18-19 season, the Rondo Chris Paul.
Yeah,
that's opening night.
Oh man,
that's opening night. So you're like,
one.
Opening night, they've really got to do something because like you don't see stuff happen that early in the schedule. And in that case, Rondo got 3 games and Chris Paul got 2. So often in the modern NBA era, David Stern, Adam Silver, there's definitely been a difference in the way things have been adjudicated in the NBA between the 2 most recent commissioners. So again, when I saw 4, 3, and 1 today, I was like, wow, like those are lengthy suspensions in all cases.
Yeah, the Jokic one on Morris was in November. It was November 9th, 2021. And he completely blindside cheap shotted Morris. Literally, he was spent like weeks. Like it was like a very serious injury. And it was a 1-game suspension in November. So what Najee Marshall did is 4 times as worse than what Jokic did to Morris.
Well, and Luke Burns here asking, did Najee even connect with
barely.
But that's not how they.
That's
not.
I can tell you, Jokic connected with Morris.
When it's a swing to the head, they're not judging.
And this is literally this is my thing about how the NBA tries to adjudicate violence. They try to codify it. They try to say, well, a punch is always worse than a shove, not taking into account that a shove can cause so much more harm and violence and damage to another player. They strip away all that context and says, well, a punch is the most violent thing you can do, even if that punch did not make contact, even if the punch left Yusuf Nurkic like unbruised, whereas a shove, even though that is by the NBA standards a less violent play, a shove, a blindside to the back shove that caused a player to be injured.
It wasn't a shove, it was like a body check. It was like, like an elbow to the spine.
That is objectively a far more violent thing, and it caused a far more violent reaction. And yet that, because the NBA tries to adjudicate this down to the 1A, Roman numeral 1 line.
And because Jokic is Jokic, let's be honest.
Subhead. Well, this is not violent, in the same way that a punch is violent.
There's also a perception thing here as well. The perception of what a punch looks like versus what a push looks like. The NBA, I'm sure, would come down much harder on what that looks like.
Well, then the perception is wrong too.
Yeah,
Society's perception that a punch that does nothing is worse than a shove that causes a player to miss 3 months of an NBA season. That is a societal problem. Yeah. We got to fix that too.
I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you.
Good luck, Adam Silver.
But we also, and Mark, you can speak to it in terms of the history of the game. One of the more violent punches, as we're going down memory lane here in the NBA, one of the more violent punches that we've ever seen in the NBA was, of course, from Rudy Tomjanovich. In the Los Angeles Lakers, of course, the name is now escaping me as far as
Kermit Washington,
thank you. And how all of that went down. Like, look, PJ Washington getting suspended for the game, I thought was the wrong call. Him getting thrown out of the game was the wrong call, I thought, as well. The NBA's explanation for why PJ Washington received the suspension, I thought was a little lame as well, because they said that he escalated the fight even more by pushing Yusuf Nurkic, which I'm thinking, actually, my man kind of de-escalated the situation, because by the time he pushed Nurkic, the whole situation was pretty much over at that point. So it is what it is. The Mavericks came out. They played without Washington, without Najee Marshall. They'll continue to do so on Monday, but Washington will be back for that game. I'm sure the Mavericks will be happy to have their indispensable forward back for that game because they could have definitely used him in a lot of ways in tonight's game.
Yeah, maybe he could have guarded someone on the perimeter.
Tanner could have done a better job guarding folks on the perimeter tonight.
I agree.
Like, the old
he could have done worse, dude. It was bad.
God damn.
It was bad. I'm saying it might not have been better, but it definitely wouldn't have been worse. It would have taken them as many dribbles to beat you as it did to beat anyone in the fourth quarter tonight.
That was so bad.
We won't talk about this game ever again after today, and I cannot wait. I can't wait to fast forward.
What if we
the new
keep
Utah
talking?
loss?
No,
I'm about to say,
I was about to say
did you want to go back to that game? There it is. Good job.
I hate that we all had the same thought.
Whether or not it was, we're going to talk about the Utah game.
Yeah.
I lost my whole train of thought. I thought I had something, and next thing you know, it lost. That's the kind of game.
Well, Kyrie Irving.
Dorian Finney-Smith.
Kyrie Irving. Kyrie,
no,
we're still in the segment.
We're still in segment 3.
It was 2.
Oh,
it was only segment 2.
This is seg 3.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. You're right. We're going to talk about Dorian?
I thought we were. Was he in the
Fast Channel 45 alert? Fast Channel 45 alert.
I want to know more of your thoughts in the chat as well from what happened tonight, because obviously, it's, Bobby laid out some of them as well. The Blazers shot 50% in this game. In a lot of ways, it felt like it was going to be over at halftime, maybe in the third quarter. I have to say this because as we were watching the game, the display of basketball that took place in the third quarter for about 5, 6, 7 possessions was arguably some of the worst basketball that I've ever seen in my life. Tanner was holding a pillow, comforting, like just laying down on the couch, just relaxing. I grabbed the pillow, damn it, and threw it up against the wall. I was so upset. I was so upset with the basketball that I was watching because it was just disgusting.
This game is proof that there are too many games.
Luke Byrne, need a favor.
Point.
Luke Byrne in the chat, just throw a couple lines, please, of highlight of recap. You said yesterday you were at the Central Coast Mariners football match. You were watching proper football in Australia. Just even if no one else cares, I would like to read a line or two of just how it was. I would appreciate it. That's my late night plea for the chat room. Don't laugh, I'm serious. I've never been to a game. I've never been to a soccer game in Australia.
Luke, clarify if you said hi to Dan Const, my friend. He's in Perth though, so opposite side of the coast.
Probably didn't do that.
Yeah, Perth is pretty far right here. How do you
my gosh.
No, Luke?
And where are our Spanish chatters?
Luke,
I want to talk about what's on the menu today.
Put in the comments.
How many hours away are you from having huevos rotos on my behalf?
How does the Australian East Coast view the Australian West Coast? Like, do y'all have beef? like is it whatsoever similar to the way East Coasters in American East Coasters view American West Coasters?
All right.
Jesus, take the wheel.
You literally said that we're not going to talk about basketball for an hour, and now you're trying to be like.
That was just
I thought Bobby was giving us, all right, let's get back on track, fellas.
Well, we'd spent a lot of time talking about Perth.
Bro, I love Perth. I've never been,
right,
but I'm
you're
sure
the only
I would.
one.
Chad, what's your favorite country to visit? What's your favorite state to visit? What's your favorite geographical location to visit? I can't talk, Tanner. It's 12:30 at night.
Yeah.
Tanner, you want to talk? What's your favorite geographical location to visit to?
Oh, we're trying to get Tanner to talk on the mic, but
Tanner's like, no.
He didn't plug his microphone in.
I think our chat.
Oh, we only have 4 inputs, he says.
The chat audience is going to be quite dismayed, I predict, to hear that Tanner cannot be heard while we're all yapping. How do we not have a setup that allows our MVP to chime in?
Oh, man, there is no beef between the Australian coasts. They literally don't care. That could not be less true for America. East Coast and West Coast is I'm sure you guys know this because American, just homogeny. Everybody knows everything about America. Oh my god, is that American? I feel like Australians know about.
I'm getting the vibe that Super Kev thinks this show has gone off the rails.
I'm gonna keep it all the way 100 because I got how many S words I got? I got one I could use.
What, super?
Sweet.
Yeah, Kavanaugh.
Saucy?
He's got one of the. The S word, the curse word, I got one of those.
We're not on TV yet, so.
No.
What, Kavanaugh has a special contract that allows him to.
Okay, so the bit that him and Vach do, they say, hey, you got one S word that you can use, one S cuss word that you can use. So.
Saucy?
No.
Sycophant? Sun God?
So to be completely 100,
I'm just trying to guess what the S word is. I don't know.
I'm about to tell you. To be quite honest, I feel like
syrupy.
I feel like shit right now. Honestly, like this right here, like all of this right here. The eyes is watering. The headache is like
bump for that.
like all of this right here.
Really me hanging?
Yes.
Did you guys see Luke Burns' comment here?
No, because I'm trying to like keep myself from like walking.
Can we go to
off
break
this.
and then talk about our favorite 2024 stuff?
Coming up next year on the DLLS Mavs postgame show.
And some trade talk. Next on DLLS Mavs.
There you go.
If anything that happened in the last 2 minutes didn't make you hate us, then that means that you probably really like this show or like
that was the realest like 5 minutes
whatever
we just had after a game like this.
And hey, you know, if you want to take your support for what we're doing one step further, if you want to sub to the channel, if you want to like the stream, comment below with how you're feeling and everything, that is great. That's all we will ever ask of you. But if you want to go one step further than that even, then you can scan this QR code right down here, click the link in the description, or go to alldlls.com/diehard where you can join the mighty legion of diehards. It's less than $7 a month to get a free shirt when you sign up. You also get a discount on any other stuff you would want, including hoodies, other shirts. We got mugs, we got flags. I just ordered a couple coffee mugs that got delivered, I think, right as I left my apartment to come here. So I don't know if that means that maybe I gave him the wrong address or something, but we'll see. I'll find out when I get home if those mugs are here. You also can read the entire website, including Tim Cato's soon-to-be published game recap article from this game. You also get to join the DLLS Discord, which was pretty downtrodden for most of this game, and then it got a little better during the fourth quarter, and much, much more. So again, if you want to become a diehard, scan the QR code.
Physical diehard card even?
That's right. You get a physical diehard card, Mark Stein. That's right. Make sure you tag us on social media. We'll shout you out here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. We've got 20% off events, premium content on our website.
We got an event coming up, too. We're going to announce that here pretty soon, I think. But we actually do have a Mavs event coming up. It's going to be pretty cool. We do. Really, really.
So if you want to be a part of that, make sure you become a diehard member. Join our DLLS sports family. Again, alldlls.com. Become a diehard member today. For just less than $7 a month, you become part of our DLLS sports family. As we mercifully finish up here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show, Tanner's like, thank you, my goodness, because Tanner's ready to go. The Mavericks fall 126-122 on the road to the Portland Trailblazers, despite Kyrie Irving going off for 46 points. In the losing effort. PJ Washington will be back, though, on Monday as the Mavericks continue their road trip when they take on the Sacramento Kings. But we are getting that much closer to the start of the 2025 calendar year, which means it's time to dial up the Stein line because we are that much closer to the NBA trade deadline as well, which I believe is February the 6th in 2025. And a former Dallas Maverick may be on the move coming to the same division as the Dallas Mavericks. Isn't that right, Mark?
Saturday Night Fever, some real live active trade discussions.
Hey.
So the Memphis Grizzlies are very interested in Dorian Finney-Smith. It is not yet a done deal, but the Grizzlies and the Nets are in active talks. The way the deal would most likely go down, if it comes to fruition, underline if, the Grizzlies have John Conchar, who's a player Brooklyn is very interested in. They also have Luke Kennard's expiring contract. The Nets want at least one first from whoever trades for Dorian Finney-Smith. So if the Grizzlies put a first with those two players, I think, again, if this deal comes to fruition, there would be some level of second-round draft compensation going from Brooklyn back to Memphis. But the Grizzlies are trying. They are trying very hard to get Dorian Finney-Smith, a player who I think is pretty well regarded in this chat room, by the show, by Mavs fans in general. A lot of teams want Dorian Finney-Smith, but to this point, the Grizzlies have been the most aggressive. Will it materialize into an actual trade? I think we will soon get that answer.
The Nets have been firm on this first-round pick portion of this? Like, this is what almost.
I mean, look, at last year's deadline, the talk was they wanted multiple firsts for Dorian Finney-Smith.
Correct.
Didn't happen then, but we've already seen the Nets make a trade. And part of the reason is the East has been so bad, so much worse than anticipated, that a team like Brooklyn, which remember, Brooklyn got its draft capital back from Houston for this draft. So, like, the Nets being as competitive as they've been, not good for them. The Nets need to be losing. The Chicago Bulls are in the same position. The Chicago Bulls beat Milwaukee tonight. Bobby's Bucks go down to the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls
Bucks aren't very good either. Maybe they should
the
trade
Bulls
for some picks.
pick goes to San Antonio if it falls outside the top 10. The only way you can guarantee that your pick is not at risk for sliding out of the top 10, you've got to finish with the 6th worst record in the league, because you can fall 4 slots in the lottery. So if the Bulls finish with the 7th worst record and then the worst case lottery scenario happens, Chicago would lose. This draft is loaded. You do not want to lose your pick in the 2025 draft. So it's like Chicago's been too good for their own good. The Nets have been too good for their own goods. But we already saw the Nets trade Dennis Schroeder, who to that point had been their best player. They traded Schroeder to Golden State the first day they could legally make that trade, because DeAnthony Melton, who went the other way from Golden State to Brooklyn, he was not trade eligible till December 15th. That trade went down the first day, and now we're seeing the Nets talking pretty seriously with Memphis, and it's not even January yet. So on one hand, you got a lot of people around the league saying, nobody can make trades, the rules are too strict, the apron. But, we've already seen 2 trades, and we're seeing some pretty real substantive talks on a possible third.
Oh, boy. That's
Did that liven things up at all?
Well, I mean, it's just interesting because of how the rules are structured and how teams are trying to maneuver themselves from Bobby's favorite subject when it comes to tax aprons and luxury tax and everything else. But teams racing to the bottom to either play capture the flag or get their favorite draft pick in this year's upcoming NBA draft, that the Nets and Bulls and teams who are playing fairly competitive basketball feel like they can't be that competitive because otherwise they're going to smoke away draft position. I think it just continues to underscore how the league in some ways operates. Either you need to be really good or race all the way to the bottom like a Washington or somebody else to try to at some point rebuild your franchise, because being stuck in the middle like Chicago has been for the last, 3 or 4 years at this point, doesn't really do you any good.
Can I give a take?
Surely.
This might prove to be wrong. I don't think I like Dorian on the Grizzlies. I don't really think I like him in their system.
As a player or as...
I don't like the fit.
Okay.
That's kind of my first thought.
I don't think that he's a good fit for them.
I have not thought about it enough to feel strongly about it.
They just have... They
You don't like the fit, or you don't like the idea of him
No, I don't like the
landing
fit.
on a team in
Well,
the
I
same
don't think Bobby
division
likes
with your,
either thing.
your Dallas Mavericks?
I like Dorian being on the Mavs, but I don't like Dorian in their system. Everybody drives. Everyone attacks the basket. Everyone makes plays. It's a lot of read, react. It's a lot of space, respace, drive, attack, kick out, respace, and that's just not really Dorian's game. He was always kind of like a catch and shoot guy. Luke Kennard is kind of like their point. He's like their backup one. He plays a lot of point guard whenever Jaw's in. They're like, Dorian can't really do that. So it's just a big different. It's like a big change for them. So I don't really like that switch.
Memphis's idea must be that Jalen Wells has literally been their lead POA guy, point of attack guy, for a lot of the season. Obviously, Marcus Smart will fill in, but Marcus Smart does not quite have the size. So the thinking is obviously just like, we need someone to connect the guards that we like and the bigs that we like. We need someone on the defensive end to kind of connect those two and fill in and be okay, this is going to go guard the best, 3 on every team. Even if
it simplifies the offense quite a bit.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
There's a good chance it might simplify the offense. I mean, then again, who else would you go get? I do feel Memphis is a really good team.
I think that Memphis should go get Cam Johnson.
I was going to say Cam Johnson was the name that I was
Every
about to say.
team in the
but
league has been named and linked to
stopper?
Cam Johnson. It feels like at
but
this
is Cam
point.
Johnson the stopper?
Oh, it doesn't matter, dude. He's just so good.
Price point for Cam Johnson, obviously, also
much more expensive.
Memphis has some picks though,
but more expensive contract too.
Yeah.
By the way, as we take a quick look around the league, my eyes nearly popped out of my head because number one, the Knicks had to go to overtime to beat the Wizards tonight. They went 136 to 132 on the road over Washington. But Jalen Brunson went off for 55 tonight in the win for the Knicks in overtime.
If Kyrie had 55, Dallas would have won.
Probably. Actually, now that you mention it, probably. But yeah, Jalen Brunson goes off for 55 tonight. The Oklahoma City Thunder have now won 10 straight games. They win again tonight. They do so on the road, taking out the Charlotte Hornets 106.
Their life is so charmed that their only loss in recent memory did not count.
Huh.
NBA Cup game that does not exist.
I know it's not.
That's why they have a 10-game winning streak.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about
That's
it.
why they're 25-5.
We talked about it quite a bit, obviously, leading up into the season. But right now, the Thunder are trying to play runaway and hide with the number one seed in the West right now, the way that they've been playing. And this is still without Chet Holmgren as well. By the way, Warriors were 109-105 over the Phoenix Suns at home. Bobby, you said the Suns that blew a lead. It was a 10-point lead against.
Yeah, they were up. They were up a pretty good amount. And then they weren't anymore.
Got that Sacramento score in Doug Christie's debut.
Yeah, Lakers went 132-122 tonight. No LeBron James in that game. He had an illness, kind of like myself, but he decided to sit out.
Super Kev does not sound super tonight, I must say.
How do you?
I felt like crap. Yeah, I'm working through it. I feel like crap, but it's
can
cool.
you catch an illness from playing too much online Madden?
Is that what? What?
LeBron's been playing a lot. LeBron just.
I was like, where are you going with this? Like, what is happening?
Did you guys not see the LeBron tweet?
Super Kev thought that was a personal attack.
I was like, what is happening here?
No, I'm talking about LeBron.
I was going at LeBron.
I'm talking
Kevin
about
Gray
LeBron.
thought
I thought he was coming
Kevin Gray thought he was
First of
coming
all,
for Kevin Gray.
You don't know how much Madden I played. Number one.
No, LeBron like 2 days
Several hours
ago.
per day.
Right.
LeBron 2 days ago.
I'm trying to catch up with Bobby's football now. Is the way that
was
he knows.
tweeting about just had a great game of Madden. Hang on, I need to read this tweet out loud from LeBron. It's one of the funniest tweets I've ever seen.
While you do that, Anthony Davis had 36 and 15 and 8 assists tonight.
I have it pulled up.
Look, Soren in Estonia says it's 8:44 a.m. in Estonia.
Must be nice.
What's for breakfast in Estonia, Soren?
yesterday-
Let us know what is being served for breakfast this morning.
So on Friday, at Friday evening, LeBron James tweets, just got done playing, quote, Rican Killa 722 randomly on Madden, got on the headset, good game and convo, bro. Some good laughs too. LOL. Salute emoji. LeBron just tweeted that.
Is it bad that I would pay to like listen to Tim Cato read like tweets and text messages in like actual...
I don't think you would pay.
No, I actually might. I might drop a $5 super chat just to hear Tim Cato read tweets and text messages.
And Tanner's message in here was right. Anybody listening, we greatly appreciate you guys being with us. Whether it's late night in the United States, whether you're abroad and it's the morning, we greatly appreciate you guys hanging out with us, staying up late with us, waking up early with us. If you would kindly share a few likes, that would certainly help our cause. Help poor Super Kev as he's grinding through here, ill, but trying to get to the fast channel 59 finish line.
It can't come fast enough tonight, my guy. It can't come fast enough.
You don't need the warning.
Front.
You're looking at the clock.
We had a bunch of easy segments lined up.
But then Kyrie Irving decided to like make this an actual game.
If they would have just rolled
Mark,
over.
That's what I'm saying. Like if they had smoked this game away like in the first half, in the third quarter, like I thought they were going to do.
Dennis, don't call me Jazz Gortman.
Like my gosh.
We are not losing to Leicester City tomorrow.
Luke sent us the press conference of the game.
I will be checking that out, Luke, when I am
I'm just saying your
mentions
mentions are probably crazier than mine, so I wanted to make sure you
Luke
saw that
Byrne moderating press conferences in the Australian Football League. Love it.
Nuggets went 134-121 over the Detroit Pistons tonight.
I have tried. I keep
ruining
the man. The man's trying to do a professional job here. I just keep ruining his flow.
We got all. In fact, you know what? How about this? It's time for us to go. We really appreciate
We actually started at 46, so we have to end at 46. I'm sorry. We have to go at least an hour, so you got to make it through one more minute.
Super Kev is
one
putting.
more
we did start at 46.
Super Kev is putting a super valiant effort on the board here. Despite my attempts to drag the show down.
Well, the Mavericks did that on their own tonight with the way that they had lost this game. Because we were let the people know what we're going to talk about. We were going to talk about all kinds of fun stuff, weren't we?
Well, we were going to talk about some of our favorite stuff that we did in 2024.
Yeah,
favorite songs that came out, our favorite food, things that we ate, favorite movies that we saw, favorite shows that we watched. We were going to talk about some other stuff. I don't remember.
Yeah. Mark's favorite trips this year. Like all kinds of stuff.
You know, and maybe we can do that on Monday's show. You know?
Should we do that? We should ask. Do the people want to hear us do our best of 2024 reflections?
It's just one segment.
Would that be a Would that be a segment of interest?
Just one seggy.
To one seggy.
He did shorten that.
One seggy.
Luke
Bird, I'm totally confused. You were moderating the press conference. You were commentating the game. We need more details. I'm not following. So we need a full breakdown of your exact role at this match yesterday.
We want to say thank you for joining us here on the DLLS Mavs post-game show.
Shout out Kyrie Irving.
Wait, before we go, Soren, can we throw Soren's coming up? He's put the whole breakfast menu on here. I'd like to see what's for breakfast in Estonia.
Before you read it, thank you to our television audience for joining us here on the DLLS Mavs post-game show as the Mavericks fall 126-122 to the Portland Trail Blazers. Download, subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasters free, and also subscribe and like on the way out the door. As we continue here on our YouTube show, Mark Stein.
Seriously, I apologize. I didn't realize I was stepping on the important part. That is totally.
And you didn't. And Tanner didn't even play.
That is totally my fault. That was totally my fault. I thought he was ending the show completely. That was totally my fault.
No, it's okay. Shout out to Soren. You can go ahead and read the breakfast menu that the Soren's got.
You think I can read words that far away?
Breakfast in Estonia could easily be some eggs in any form. Dark bread. We adore dark bread over here.
Yes.
Some cheese, dark bread veggies, etc.
You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Never mind.
So cheese, bread, eggs. Nice.
Thank you.
What you should do is scramble up some eggs, throw those eggs on some toast.
Thank you for the menu from Tallinn.
Hold on,
I appreciate
it. Veggies for breakfast? What kind of vegetables you eating for breakfast?
All sorts, dude. I'm on mic. I'm writing my article.
Dude, you gave him such a stink face. You're like, you said that was like straight out of Napoleon Dynamite.
Gosh.
All sorts, dude.
We really love y'all here at the DLLS Mavs post-game show.
Oh my God, no.
Oh my gosh.
Read it.
Join us on Monday. We will be back here for our pregame show at 8:30 p.m. Bobby, 9 p.m. start time.
Guys, Kevin is trying to put a bow on the show here. Let the man work.
For Mark Stein, Bobby Corella, you'll see him at 9 p.m., Bobby, on Monday for our Tim Cato, I'm Kevin.
Oh, my God.
Thank y'all. We love you.
I need a day off so bad.
Who are you telling? No, actually, I just had days off. Never mind. We'll talk to you.
Yeah, go back on your international vacation.
I just might after tonight. I promise you.
We're
do better.
laughing too much after a loss. We need to be sadder next time.
What are we supposed to do, dude?
I almost said his name too. Bye. We'll see you later. Y'all be good. Peace.
Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.